Oh, yeah, people are going to be mad when that tax refund check comes late. The IRS has laid off many people. It's all part of Doge and the slimming down of the federal government. So I want to play this video.
Former employee we spoke with today tells us he is not surprised by what happened, but is still disappointed. He says it all started when he arrived at work early this morning and had issues logging into his computer.
Feel pretty lost. I don't know where I'm going to go forward from here.
Robert McCabe's one of about 400 Philadelphia area I.R.S. workers who were laid off today. The move's part of the Trump administration's nationwide effort to cut up to 10% of the federal workforce through the newly formed Office of Government Efficiency.
It was an illegal firing. My performance was good. I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing.
They're all being told it is your performance. And we cannot see that as being anything but under false pretenses.
Alex J. Berman is the executive vice president of the National Treasury Employees Union Chapter 71. He says the layoffs affect probationary employees, individuals who have not yet completed 1 year of continuous federal service.
Let's talk about this for a minute. So they're talking about 10% of the IRS. Now, I don't know if it's going to really affect tax refund checks. I'm sure a lot of Americans are a little bit concerned about that. But the reality is that, again, this is just part of all the parts of government are going to get slimmed down. I think anybody who voted for Donald Trump shouldn't be surprised. I think that, as federal employees, it's unfortunate, but no one is guaranteed a job. A lot of people in the tax profession, if you will, a lot of that is seasonal. Now, I'm not saying that they are supposed to be seasonal, but at the end of the day, slimming them down isn't a surprise. So people who prepare taxes, let's say H&R Block and other tax services, a lot of that stuff is a seasonal thing. So they may not need that many people all year round. That could be part of it. I don't know. But I think that, again, it all depends on the lens you look at this. If you're hit directly, you're going to take this a certain way. You're going to feel like, I voted for Donald Trump and he fired me from my job. It's not that. When you work for the government, it's just like working for any other business.
Most of them would have been in collection. They're the people you call when you owe money and you have to figure out the easiest way to pay it off.
As the firings took place across the country today, a federal judge denied NTEU's bid to block the Trump administration from carrying out mass layoffs at federal agencies. McCabe describes himself as someone who supported the president and tells NBC 10 he agrees with him that there are aspects of government that need to be fixed.
I thought that someone with his business acumen would have come in with a fine-tooth comb and actually found it, instead of coming in with a wrecking ball and destroying people's lives for no reason.
McCabe worked for the IRS for 4 months and says he believes the massive cuts could impact services. With many Americans in the process of filing their taxes right now, it's unclear how the layoffs may affect collection services.
I'm not trying to be insensitive, but this guy worked for the IRS for 4 months, right? So, for example, about 3 years ago, I worked for an accounting company that, they're accountants, but they do work all year round. But obviously the busy time is in January to about, April. That's the busy time. I work for them. Now, this was an opportunity I took because I had an opportunity to kind of manage about 4 people. And it was a program that looked like it was going to be very promising. I took the position, started working for them. And, a little beknownst to me, this program that they had put in place, they were trying to expand their business. They hired these new employees. I was supposed to manage, like I said, 4 of them. I had a little office and all these things, and it looked like a great opportunity. I started working there, and unbeknownst to me, it was a program that they put together they really couldn't finance. Now, again, this is private sector, but my point of the story is I worked there, had no idea. I had not changed my life around, but I had planned to go ahead and work this position. And I started working it and found out after about 2 months that they actually could not finance this whole project, and they ended up letting me go. It wasn't the end of the world. I had other stuff going on, no big deal. But point being is that when you work somewhere, you never know what people have planned. Now, This guy said that Donald Trump is wrecking people's lives. I get it, because if you're hit directly, I understand. But I wonder if he would have said that if he was not fired. Here's somebody, you worked there for 4 months. You know what I'm saying? The IRS, we don't know how busy they are all year round, but slimming 10% of the workforce, to me, is not it's not a crazy thing. And if you voted for Trump, you knew they were going to slim down the government. Every aspect of the government, they're probably going to slim down. The only aspect I think they're not going to slim down is probably military. That's just my opinion, because America's military heavy as far as spending. But you know, I don't know. But the reality is that you have to be able to take it whether it affects you or doesn't affect you. If you agree with the premise of slimming down the federal government, then you agree. If you disagree, you disagree. But ultimately, this is something that was going to happen regardless if you voted for Donald Trump. And in the long run, it's probably going to be a better thing to slim the government down. Now, if the government has more need, if they do slim down too, just like any other business, if they slim down too much and they have more need, they'll just hire more people. It is what it is. That's what businesses do. This is a shock to the American system, because we've never, ever had any president really deal with the government like this. And I think it, again, if it hits you, it feels very personal. It's like they want to come in and destroy your lives. But ultimately, at the same time, if they keep up this ridiculous deficit and they don't actually handle the issues that our government has as far as our government expenses, then I don't know. People won't be happy either way. But, again, if you don't receive your check on time as far as your tax refund, maybe maybe they'll realize they slimmed down too much. I don't know. But, all the workers, civil servant, IRS, and the rest of the departments, all they serve many good purposes. And I'm sure most people who work in the federal government are good everyday people just trying to pay their bills, but ultimately you can never depend on a job. You can't depend on it. The government is no different than working in the private sector. Somebody has to pay you. Tax funds come, or excuse me, tax revenue comes in from taxpayers and it pays employees. So someone has to look at that budget, and people know deep down inside that it's time to actually slim it down, and if it affects you, I understand. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Crucial Convo. Let me know if you're worried about tax refunds and so on, but everybody's getting hit in this thing. So I advise people to just be ready and, you know, just deal with it like the rest of us out here who have to work as entrepreneurs, or those of us who work in the private sector. We're not guaranteed a job. We're not guaranteed income. We got to get up and get it. And if you work for someone else, you're always subject to that business. You don't know what the hell is going to happen. You have no control over it, and you're not guaranteed anything. So